For years, Japan has been at the top of my travel list. Beyond my love for Pokemon, I've always been drawn to Japanese culture, their attention to detail, their hospitality, and the perfectionism you see in the everyday products they create. It's a culture rooted in honor and mutual respect, where even the smallest interactions are handled with care. In April 2025, I finally made my dream to experience Japan a reality, spending 10 unforgettable days in Japan with a close friend. During my visit, I was constantly impressed by how deeply their values show up in every part of life. You see it everywhere, in the intricate wooden joinery of a centuries-old shrine, the minimalist efficiency and quiet warmth of a traditional home, and the sleek lines of their modern skyscrapers. There's a quiet discipline behind it all. A cultural commitment to beauty, order, and purpose that's impossible to ignore. In this video series, I want to share some of the highlights from that trip. What I experienced as both a Pokemon fan and a curious traveler, so you can get a glimpse of what to expect if you ever decide to explore this amazing country for yourself. Let's see what we're going to cover in today's video. Let's jump into it. I finally made it to Akihabara, and yeah, it's just as wild and electric as people say. But if you're coming here to hunt vintage Pokemon cards like I was, there are a few things you should know first. This video takes you through the streets of Akihabara and the real experience of trying to find rare vintage Pokemon cards in the middle of it all. Before we dive into the card hunt, let's talk about the place itself. Akihabara is intense, it's loud, it's colorful, and it kind of overloads your senses in the best way. You step out of the station and it just hits you. Buildings stacked with anime signs, claw machines, gachapon walls, and rows of blinking lights. Inside, it's no less intense. These shops make use of every inch, or I should say centimeter, of space. Shelves packed floor to ceiling with Gundam kits, anime figures, manga, and trading cards. It's cramped, chaotic, and total sensory overload, but in the best kind of way. A nerd paradise through and through. This was my first introduction to the Tokyo nightlife, and it didn't disappoint. And then there's Yodobashi, this massive multi-store electronics store right next to the station. Somehow matches Akihabara's energy, packed with gadgets, signs, and screens fighting for your attention on every floor. It's overwhelming and awesome, and honestly, I wish we had something like it back in the States. Even their electronic stores give you the sense of how celebrated nerd culture is in Japan. Also, for anyone planning a trip to Japan, here's a bonus tip for you. Big stores like Yodobashi and department stores often have food courts on the top floors. We ended up having incredible sukiyaki after spending way too long trying to choose because every place looked amazing. So when you're in Japan, make sure to hit some of these bigger stores like Yodobashi or Bic Camera and check out the top floor when you're done shopping for some delicious Japanese cuisine. But I wasn't just here for the atmosphere. I came to hunt Pokemon cards, especially older Japanese ones like Versus or Unnumbered promos. These cards are exclusive to Japan and full of vintage charm and history. But let me tell you, actually finding them, that's a whole different story. Now here's the reality, Pokemon card hunting in Akihabara is not quite the fantasy you might think. The stores are incredible, towering vertical displays filled with cards, glass cases crammed with legendary sets, but many of the best shops are hidden, tucked away in upper floors of random buildings, sometimes without an English sign in sight. Google Maps honestly only gets you halfway there. I ended up relying on a YouTube video from another creator just to find a couple of stores I really wanted to visit. Without that, I would have missed the best stores entirely. One thing I noticed, the stores that are easiest to find, the ones that are closest to the main tourist areas, were often the most overpriced. Some of them seemed to bank on the convenience and foot traffic, and the prices reflected that. If you're serious about the hunt, it's worth wandering deep into the maze and definitely worth coming more prepared than I did with a plan for the shops you want to visit and where they are on the map. And when it comes to older cards like Japanese Versus series unnumbered promos or gym era holos, they're hard to find in good condition. If you're hoping to find cards worth grading, be prepared to spend a lot of time digging, and even then don't expect bargains. Asking to see specific cards behind the glass can also feel a little awkward. The clerks are super polite, but I never wanted to take up too much of their time flipping through tons of cards, especially in these busy stores. One tip though, if you see multiple cards with different prices in a display, the more expensive ones are usually higher quality, which might help you if you're grading. And if you're into modern cards, Japan's love for Pokemon means high demand, and prices reflect that. A lot of the cards and booster boxes were about the same as US prices, sometimes even more. But even with the challenges, I had a blast. Just being surrounded by these floor-to-ceiling displays, it's a vibe I wish we had in the States. I didn't leave empty-handed either. I picked up a beautiful Rockets Tyranitar from Versus, easily the cleanest vintage card I saw all day. I think it has a strong shot at a PSA 10. I also grabbed 2 binder copies, a Japanese Lieutenant Surge's Fearow from the Gym series with a sick swirl, and Karen's Rapidash from Versus. Neither were mint, but they were too cool to pass up. One store even had a Game Boy display case with Pokemon Gold and Blue, and next to it, old rarities like Shining Mew and Masaki promos, red-green gift set quick starter holos, really cool old vintage cards. That shop was a gem for vintage collectors. Akihabara was a trip in every sense. A paradise for collectors, but not without its frustrations. Still, whether you're buying or just window shopping, it's worth every second. Just bring a map and maybe a little patience.
Blake's decided to pick up gambling.
Here we go.
Here we go. He's
1,000 yen.
He's gonna put it on 1,000 yen.
So it's like $7.
7, $8, something like that.
Come on. It helps if you put it in the right hole.
Yeah, it does. Alright,
Here we go.
here we go.
Can we get something better than a piece of junk?
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Did you get taken for a ride?
Well, this one came with multiple cards.
Oh, you might actually just gotten lucky.
Let's see what I got here. I can get another wrapper. Come on, come on. It's tight in there. Oh, just a V. So, nothing great.
It is what it is.
Don't gamble, kids. If you liked this real look at Japanese card stores, hit that like button and subscribe. There's more travel and Pokemon content coming. Drop me a comment below and let me know what you would be shopping for if you went to Japan looking for Pokemon cards. We'll see you later.